Before starting to talk about Google, tell me more about yourself, your involvement in Google, your experience, and so on.
So thank you very much for having me. So I joined Google in January 2022. So I'm with the company for more than 1.5 years at the moment. I joined Google because I'm motivated by volunteering in general. And I used to volunteer a lot before joining Google. And what we do here with Grow with Google, because this is the area that I like work in, and all the Grow with Google programs, I am, like, let's say, the person behind. I'm motivated because I feel that with Grow with Google we contribute to the digitalization of Romania, and by organizing these programs, in a way or another, we give back to the community. Even though we talk about students, small and medium businesses, startups, in all these ways we contribute and we try to give back. And this is something that motivates me. I always say that I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't work for Google if I wouldn't have the opportunity to contribute in a way or another to the community. And I feel that here in Romania I can do it like the best I can, because it's also like, I don't know, being here for the other Romanians, and just by knowing what they actually need. So yeah.
So talking about Google, tell me more about the involvement of Google Romania and the areas of digitalization of SMEs, and what were the first steps on the Romanian market?
So we are helping SMEs, or SMBs as we call it, in several ways. We started a couple years ago in 2017. I think back then, maybe you know about Atelierul Digital. It was launched together with 8 hubs around the country. Right now we have 9. This year we opened another hub here in University Polytechnica. But back then we used to focus on training individuals, but also SMBs. The main focus back then was digital marketing, but at the moment we have different topics and different trainings in the curriculum. I remember that in hubs we used to have digital marketing experts that used to have one-to-one sessions with small and medium business owners that wanted somehow to understand how to bring their business online, what they need to do, and how to use our tools in order to, like, in a way or another, have a successful business. With the pandemic, this changed a bit, and at the moment we are organizing these one-to-one sessions virtually online. But these were our first steps, like trying to help SMBs like throughout these one-to-one sessions and trainings. We have also Google pentru IMM-uri. It's Google for SMBs, but somehow we translate it in Romanian. With these initiatives, we have courses on variety of topics, and also these one-to-one consultations that are mentioned. We also collaborate with other organizations here locally. One of them is CONAF. It's the National Confederation for Female Entrepreneurship, and Consiliul IMM-urilor, which in English I think we can translate it as the National Organization for Small and Medium Businesses. So these are some ways in which we help SMBs. Apart from our tools, they have access to several tools that are like, they can use it without costs. There's Market Finder for those that want to discover new markets, for those who want to export and learn how to understand how to create a better marketing strategy for a different market, or if they need more help understanding the logistics they need. There's this tool that can help them do these things even better. And there's also Google Business Profile, Profilul Companiei. Back then it used to be called Google My Business. And Google Ads, Google Analytics, all these tools I'll explore in these one-to-one sessions. And usually our experts just talk with the owners and try to understand what they actually need and try to come up with the best solutions for them.
So besides SMBs and these areas where you help them, how did the involvement of Google grew, thinking about the relationship with startups, with tech companies, not so much just SMBs who want to go online?
So just to understand more your question, you mean like how we grew as an initiative, you mean?
Yes.
So basically, just to give you an overview, is this initiative Grow with Google, and we have 3 pillars. One is to help people develop digital skills. One pillar focuses on trying to help SMBs, and one focuses on supporting innovation. And here we talk about startups mostly. So we grew. At 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, when Google started in Romania, there was a small team. It used to focus more on the product because Google products basically help businesses grow in a way or another, like reaching new customers, exploring new markets, going globally. And on top of that, we started to add programs, more initiatives, educational initiatives that we support, grants that we offer, and these kind of things.
And what do you think was and is the role that Google took in the ecosystem, in the Romanian ecosystem, maybe comparing it to examples from other countries and how Google acted in other countries, maybe also in the region?
We like to say that Romania grows through digitalization with a little help from Google. So we position ourselves as someone who is here to help you. Even though you want to develop your skills, even though you want to develop your business, your startup, we are here just to give you the tools and the resources you need in order for you to grow. So this is our way in which we operate here locally.
And you mentioned that Google grew in Romania from a small office focused on the products to an organization that now helps SMBs, startups, students. How was this process inside the company, the local office, in order to become what Google Romania is right now on the market?
So I'm new in the office, but I know from my other colleagues that there used to be just a few people, and the team started to grow more and more. Currently, we are more people even in my team. I think it was important to find colleagues that are motivated by the same initiatives. I am talking now about my area, Grow with Google. Dan was motivated by doing all these programs and educational initiatives and all these interesting activities for startups and partnerships that actually do something here locally. And myself, I am motivated by the same things. And when I joined Google, this was for sure something that I shared. And by sharing the same values, it was easier for us just to put together our ideas and to work for something that's bigger. And for sure, this is something that's important here, that we can do things at scale. And if you really want to do good, you can feel that you can really do it.
How did the involvement of Google in the Romanian economy grew over these years?
Here, last year in 2022, we also created a report with all our results, meaning here the Grow with Google programs. At the moment, 500,000 people already went through one of our programs, Atelierul Digital, Google pentru IMM-uri, which is amazing, I'd say. And more than 10,000 SMBs already went through our program, even though it's a course or one-to-one session. There are grants that we offered. Digital Nation is one example. I don't know if you know about them. They are an NGO. They work with students and I'd say young professionals. In 2021, we, together with google.org, we gave them a grant. And this grant focused on connecting these young experts in digital marketing, tech in general, with SMBs that somehow needed more help to digitalize their business. And by connecting them, both parties gain from these collaborations. This is one example. We are focusing a lot on online safety. And there's another grant also with google.org that we gave to Faber. That's another NGO. At the moment, we trained more than 60,000 teachers, and they also train other kids in schools about online safety, which for me it's amazing, and we continue this partnership. These are small maybe small things, I don't know if they are small, I think they are quite great, but these are some things that we do. And in terms of startups, our way in which we act here locally is by creating partnerships with strong stakeholders here locally. Those that create different events. We are partners with Textilvania, How to Web. Again, there are also the Accelerator, our main partner. We partnered with them in 2018. Together we have several accelerators that we do together. The launch community also for startup founders. Step Forward, it's another initiative that we support. So this is the way in which we somehow try to contribute to the ecosystem.
Why is it important for a company as big as Google and as influential to be part of these events and initiatives in the ecosystem? Even if we talk about connecting experts with SMBs, startup events, startup communities, and so on.
Startups are close partners to Google. In a way or another, they use our technology to build better products. They use our marketing channel to reach new users, acquire new customers. So for sure, they are important for us, and not only, also SMBs. We strongly believe that it's our responsibility to help them grow, because in a way or another, if they grow, we grow. So that's why we focus so much on helping them develop and expand. And there's also this thing that we actually really believe that it's our responsibility to give back. I'm saying this all over again, but it's something that we really believe in. And for sure, we have experts that can for sure share their knowledge and help this company succeed.
What have you learned, and I'm talking as a professional right now, what have you learned from working with this kind of small companies, small entrepreneurs in Romania, students and so on?
What I've learned? I've learned that it's a hell of a journey, for sure, if you want to have a startup. And I've learned also that they really need this community that we are trying to build. And they enjoy to meet with one another and share ideas. And this happens so naturally. I was at Textilvania a few weeks ago, and it was so interesting to see that everyone was telling me that, oh, but I am coming to the conference mostly to meet my colleagues and new people, more than just to be here and listen. It's not that the talks are not interesting, but just the idea of having this community is so valuable. I've learned that it's important to somehow give back, and I'm referring here more to those that already have a success story, that went abroad and now are interested in coming back, and they are interested in offering mentorship or even becoming an angel investor for Romanian startups. I think this is great, and this is something that I am keen on supporting, I'd say.
From personal experience point of view, because you mentioned the fact that people who were successful are coming back, developing themselves as investors, helping the community. Do you think that the country and the ecosystem is now more open to help each other? Did the ecosystem change, basically?
I think we have great pool of talent here. And for sure, some success stories, Romanian success stories, inspired other founders and created a momentum. And for sure, I would love to see even more success stories, and for sure more will come, because those create a momentum, and other people that are interested in creating a startup have more courage to try. I also think that we tend to be more curious about the idea of creating our own business, even though we talk about a startup or just an SMB. And it's interesting to see that also international VCs are more and more interested in Romanian startups, which for sure creates a great opportunity for those who start here. So yes, I feel that we somehow are accelerating the growth, and hopefully it's going to be bigger and bigger.
You also, with startups, you have Google for Startups program in the region. When did the idea or the need to bring Google for Startups here locally came up?
This came naturally. We already discussed that success stories inspire founders, so more and more ideas around startup emerged, more programs started to started to happen here locally. And as I mentioned, it was naturally. We always try with our programs to come as a response to the community. So for sure, we could feel that the community needed a company as big as Google to contribute, and it was natural to do it. And we started doing this with the accelerator. As I mentioned, they are our main partner. But for sure, we are open to support different initiatives that are valuable here locally.
How do you pick the initiatives that are relevant for the ecosystem, but also for Google? For example, with accelerators, you chose some specific domains, AI for example, to promote. How do you choose them?
Usually it's important for us to also connect with the team that's organizing these programs because we want to see that we share common values. For us, it's important to create a program that really supports founders, that creates a community for them, and that focuses on resources that are also valuable and applicable. So usually these are the main things that we look for. And as I mentioned, it's important to align our values because for us, our main focus is to make startups believe that they can really succeed. And also it's important to have this mindset as an organizer of this kind of initiatives. And what we are looking for, it's also the idea of growth mindset. We want to know that when we create that program, those startups that will join will learn how to have this growth mindset, to think globally, because it's important to have this mindset if you want to scale. So this would be some things that we look for.
What do you think your generation has as characteristics? How is it different than the older generation?
Mm-hmm. So I strongly believe that we have more courage to try new things and we are bolder. In a way or another, we are inspired for sure by those stories that we hear from abroad. And for sure, we want to leave some here. Like to not be obliged to leave our country just to experience, let's say professionally, different things. And for example, here, we have those that create the startups. Those people for sure want to create their own product, their own story. And just by seeing how this ecosystem grows, it's because we want to do it here. We don't want to always be be obliged to leave our country behind because here you don't have the resources to do it. I think this is why I also stayed here, like in Romania, because you asked about my personal experience. At one moment, I was thinking, should I stay here or should I go? I think it's important to also just try new international experiences, and I did that because in a way or another you connect with people from a different culture, and for sure you get to know different views, different perspectives on the same problem, and maybe learn from the best. But I strongly believe that it's also important to come back and give here and try to build here. So when I had this let's say battle inside myself, should I stay or should I go, I just decided to stay here, but maybe from time to time just go abroad and learn from there. And also by joining Google, it was my way in which I consider that I can learn from the best, but I can also do good here locally.
Going back to our discussion about the ecosystem, what do you see in the local startup ecosystem? How would you describe it when you look at it evolving year after year?
I think I mentioned before, here it's a great pool of tech talent for sure. And I'm happy to see that it's growing year by year, more and more initiatives for startups emerge, which is amazing if you ask me, because you have so many resources here locally. Still, I think we have to somehow grow our skill set also, because we focus a lot of the technical skills, but there are also important, like knowing how to sell, knowing some digital marketing, knowing different things that create like a successful startup, and also knowing how to create a product, because even though we have a lot of professionals here in the technical field, still we need to learn how to create products, and that would be something that maybe we should focus more in the future. I mentioned already that it's great that a lot of international VCs and money are coming into the ecosystem, which is great, because here in this way startups have more opportunity to grow and innovate. But we should focus more on learning how to build products. Yes, this is for sure something that I would say is important.
Should be this an individual initiative from every founder, or it can be helped by the ecosystem and by the organizations in the ecosystem in order to improve it?
I think for sure it's important that each founder is like open to learn new things, but for sure it's our role as an ecosystem to put there like the programs and to give them the tools to learn these things. It's important for us to give them like, okay, these are at least the main things that you need to know in order to develop your product, or this is why it's important to have a growth mindset and to think globally when you start your product. So for sure, these are things that we should like create for them, and for them it's important to be open and just try to integrate this learning as best as they can.
How do you think Romania compares as a business ecosystem to other ecosystems in the region?
It's comparable, but for this question, and I wanted to point it also out when you send me the question, I think it's important to somehow ask my colleagues from our regional Google for Startups, and maybe they can go more in depth with these details.
Mm-hmm. And staying at Google for Startups, if you can mention some specific ways in which Google for Startups can help tech companies develop more.
So here locally we support several initiatives. On one hand, there are the accelerators, incubators. I will just mention a few. Our main partner, the accelerator, they have different programs all around the year. There's also the launch community. They also have an incubator where startup founders can go and somehow develop their idea, test it, connect with other peers. I think this is also the most important thing, and also get feedback. There's also Step Forward, another initiative that we support. There are also the events. Yearly, we team up with Textilvania and How to Web in order to create a space for, I'd say, not only startups, but experts from the tech industry, and not only even business. And more than that, we have the Google Cloud credits for startups. They can apply, of course, there are some requirements, but they can raise up to $200,000 in Google credits. And on top of that, there are the Google for Startups programs that happen regionally. One that is like open now for application is Google Growth Program that focuses on healthcare and well-being startups and their solutions and how they can actually use AI in order to help solve different healthcare problems. So yeah, these are some examples. Usually we promote all these regional accelerators, and all Romanian startups are encouraged to apply. So yep, these are some things I'd say in a nutshell that we do for the ecosystem.
How do you balance as an organization, of course, the obvious part that you need to sell the products, you need to have them in the market, and the need to help companies that can become the clients for Google?
So how do you balance it?
How do you balance it?
We balance it. Well, I think it was smart how these things are inside the company, because I was talking about my role. So I'm only focusing on these programs that help the community, individuals, SMBs, startups. My colleagues for sure focus also on growing the business, but for sure with my volunteering mindset, I'm in the best place.
If you would to describe to someone from abroad the Romanian ecosystem, how would you do it?
I would start with one word. I just use curiosity for describing our startup ecosystem. And I'm using this word because I usually connect with different people that have their own startups. And I like to also connect with them at a personal level and try to understand what the motivation behind. So that's why I always feel that curiosity is something that describes most of them. I'd say we are growing step by step. This is how I would put it right now. We are in the beginning. It's like you have a child and you are trying to help him or her learn new things and grow and become this great professional. This is how, in a way or another, I see the ecosystem. It's growing. And I think also we have a lot of people that are professionals. They are for sure willing to contribute. It's the programs and our responsibility as an ecosystem to learn how to put these skills together, I'd say, because you have all these resources, but someone needs to be there to organize everything. And I think this is where we are right now.
Some long time ago, Google was also a startup, a small and chaotic startup trying to make it. But it evolved. It's a big company right now, but huge company with procedures and so on. What can a startup learn from a big company, from your experience, your own experience of working at Google?
Sometimes we joke here that in Romania we still have that flavor that used to be maybe in the garage where Google started. But it's interesting that you asked me that. But the main thing that came up in my mind was the culture. I think this is important. And as I mentioned, I'm talking with different founders at events, or maybe are just my friends and we have the opportunity to change ideas. But I could see that usually people think that it's important to focus on the organizational culture later on. I think it's important to think about it since the beginning, because it's important to understand and be aware that even your first employee is going to influence your internal culture a lot and the way the business grows. And I think this is something that Google did well. They concentrated on the culture, and you could see it also here internally, and that's why it succeeded. So this is my recommendation. Yeah, and there's also the book, but forget me that I don't have it now. I will just give you the title. But the guy who was the first in HR wrote it, and there are all these ideas and all the insights that he shared since the days he just created the culture around Google. It's interesting.
What's next for Google in the Romanian ecosystem?
Next, we just want to continue to do what we do, to be an important partner for startups and stakeholders. And here I mean our partners, and I already mentioned them. And try to do our best and to support as best as we can the ecosystem by supporting all these initiatives that are helping them.
You mentioned that you work a lot with SMBs in Grow with Google programs. If you would try to compare basically entrepreneurs that have traditional businesses that now learn the digital marketing ways, the internet, and so on, how to promote themselves, and tech startups, because you talk with both. What's common and what's different, and what they can learn maybe from each other, because sometimes it feels like there is a world of tech startups and a world of entrepreneurs.
For sure, they are both entrepreneurs. And I'd say they are both passionate about their idea, their solution. In a way or another, both try to help people with a product, with, I don't know, if someone has a bakery, for sure, there's a lot of help. But I think the scale is different. And I mentioned before having this growth mindset. When you have a startup, you have something that it's innovative there and will help people at scale globally, hopefully for most of the Romanian startups. If you have a bakery, I'm not saying it's not important, because it is, and it's important to be passionate about it if you have it, but you will just help the community, you will be there like doing what you love, but it's a different thing. Maybe you will be innovative, I don't know, in a way or another, using more interesting tools, but not in a way in which a startup can be. So I think here is the difference.
You mentioned that you were involved in volunteering activities and so on, and also about giving back to the ecosystem. If you would think about, if you give an advice to a founder which has a small startups right now, how can founders help each other right now in the ecosystem? Because they cannot wait just for bigger companies, the government, the investors to help them. Maybe they can help each other as a community.
Here I'm sharing something that I learned also from my colleagues that actually have a startups, because I am passionate about it, but I wouldn't call myself an expert because I don't have a startup, and I know they struggle with a lot of difficulties that I am not struggling with. But what I think it's important, when they have events, try to like join events. If you know that there are like dedicated events for startups, go there and try to connect with others, because maybe you want to hire someone and you might need a recommendation. For sure, there would be maybe another guy from a different startup, guy or a girl, that maybe can help you with that. Or maybe you, I don't know, need more legal advice. For sure, you will find someone there who maybe struggled with something similar and they can help you. And another thing, I think it's important to also share these things with the others. So if you encounter the problem, try to share about it, because maybe someone will benefit from your story. So yeah, changing contexts, maybe ideas, for sure it's like help you not waste your time. If someone already experienced something, it's easier if you just know the steps that you need to follow just to solve it faster.
And even if things evolved a bit in the last few years, we still see less women as founders, or only startups that are women only founded. How do you see this aspect in the Romanian ecosystem, and how can we maybe be better at it, to have more startups founded by women and so on?
I mentioned that we have a collaboration with Step Forward, and they also launch a report on that. And in their cohort, they are focusing on this, supporting women, even though they are not like the only women co-founders, but also at least one woman in the team. I think it's important. And I think the first thing that we can do is just speak about the success stories of other women that did that. I think this is the main thing that we can do, because usually we connect emotionally, and as a woman I can say that I'm inspired by other women who succeeded. So yeah, this is the main thing. And other than that, I think in a way or another it's important to have these programs in which we talk about this openly, and we somehow like I'd say, attract maybe women by telling them that we trust them and we create this safe space in which they can join, and they will be like considered equally with men. But yes, I think we still have to do more things for this, because I could see that mostly teams that are like women only are those that encounter the most challenges.
And if you would look right now as a citizen, basically, of Romania at the country, what things are still important to be changed?
As a Romanian citizen?
Yeah.
There are a few.
Yeah. Maybe the most important, or maybe entrepreneurship specific, I don't know. Something like this.
I think here it's important to focus for sure on education. That's why we are trying to do that with our programs. Like understanding that it's important to also go like at the root of the problem. That's why we have Ero Internetului program, because in a way or another we are trying to bring together parents, teachers, students and talk about online safety. And when we discuss about online safety, for sure you already know the basics when it comes to digital skills. I could see that like we need more digitalization for sure, and that's why our programs are like focusing on that. And in a way or another, trying to support also people that are not comfortable with technology yet, but for sure there's still like things we can do better. And in terms of SMBs, and I wouldn't discuss about digitalization when it comes to startups, because there's a different story. But when it comes to SMBs, for sure, there's also needs for more SMBs to learn how to use digital tools in order to at least automate some tasks and be faster, I'd say, in how they move. And in a way or another, connect more with the young community. When you have a business and you are not online, I think you are the main who, like, it's not benefits for what the internet can do for you, because customers will find other businesses that are there and they can access. I think, yeah, digitalization in general, education. Here, when it comes to education, I can talk more and more and more, but I don't think it's the purpose for our discussion. But if I would just have to share, my personal opinion and to just prioritize, I would for sure first say education. I mentioned here Ero Internetului, and then from there I would just go with digitalization.
Last thing. Let's say you would have to make a pitch internally here for people who are not even in the region, that know the region, but in the HQ, in the US. And you would try to put a motto on the Romanian ecosystem, on Romania in general. What would be this? How would you describe it in very, very short words, punchy words for a pitch?
A pitch about the Romanian ecosystem, startup ecosystem. Yes. I don't know, I just have in my mind our slogan for Growing Google program. Romania grows through digitalization. And I would use it. Romania grows through digitalization and also innovation. And to be innovative, we need startups and we need an ecosystem to help them grow.